Track wrestling here in Fresno, California, Women's Freestyle World Team Training Camp with Women's Freestyle National Coach Terry Steiner. Interesting camp you guys have going on here. What, 7, 8 countries coming in, I think, this week?
Yeah, we have 8 countries coming in, or that are in now. We have Ukraine, Hungary, Austria, what else do we have? France, Norway, Netherlands. So
one from Japan, I think, yeah.
One from Japan. So there's some good representation, and really it gives us a variety of partners, gives us some different feels. You know, I just think with our national team, we're not deep enough to really, where we can really challenge ourselves enough, and so we want to make sure that we're not going into the World Championships or, doing our preparation without being 100% aware that, we're ready. And I just don't want to give that false sense of security. So, to bring in some teams that are going to challenge us, that's huge importance to me.
You guys go overseas and do stuff like this over in Europe, in Japan. Is this unique to women's freestyle? Does this stuff go on? I don't hear about this stuff as much in men's freestyle. I don't know about Greco.
Greco does it a lot more. Men's freestyle definitely does it a lot. But men's freestyle is in a different situation. They got a lot of, they can be challenged here. With so many people. They're so deep. They're so strong, and we just don't have that depth yet. And I just think that we struggle with certain styles around the world. And so why not put ourselves in an environment that are really going to help us better understand that, I just look at it like if you're in school and you're taking a test, you want to know that you're prepared when you get to that final test, and I want to know that we've touched those bases and we understand what we're getting into. So when we go to the World Championships, we're not surprised by anything. And we know how to handle different styles and different things coming after us. So to bring foreign people into camp or going overseas and staying a little bit longer, we'll go to Poland next month. We're going to stay for 5 days, and again get a little bit more of a test and just so we know. And we're not afraid of it. So we're not afraid when we do go into the World Championships that we know we can accomplish what we want to accomplish.
How would you gauge your readiness at this point?
We get a ways to go. That's why we're in camp. That's why we're in training. I mean, I thought we performed pretty well in Spain last month, but definitely there were some things that we need to correct to get to where we want to be. And some of it's very simple. It's conditioning. I didn't think our conditioning base was where it needed to be, so we're definitely ramping that up a little bit more. And then some of the others is just some technical areas that we need to, and some tactical areas that we need to improve on and move forward. So to get different feels again, to have the foreign teams here to get a little bit different feel, a little bit different understanding of it. I'm all for that.
Can you take a little inventory of where you're at to this point in the year with each of them individually and some of the things that you like from what you've seen from your world team members?
Well, I mean, Whitney, let's go just up the lineup. I mean, Whitney Condor, I think has wrestled this spring and early summer as good as anyone. I mean, she really, and as good as she ever has. I mean, she's looking really good. I think the weight class is perfect for her. Whitney's going to fight 100% every time she steps on the mat. And I really like how she's going about this right now. And I think this is Whitney's, I don't know how many world teams she's made, but she's made a lot of world teams. It might be her 4th or 5th world team. And, she hasn't gotten that senior level medal yet. And I think she's very hungry for that. And she's realizing that this door is not going to be open forever. And so I think she's excited to have another opportunity to get this job done. So I like where she's at right now. I like how she's preparing, and that's really all we can ask for right now. Sarah Hildebrandt, I think, is on track. She's made some life changes, and she's been doing the right things, and has really had a great year all the way through the year, and she's just carrying it forward. And I really, she's going to be in the mix. You never know how people are going to end up, but she's going to be in the mix. She's competing well. She's laser focused right now, and we expect big things from her as well. Next one is Jakara Winchester. Jakara, kind of the same. I mean, she made some changes, right, and it's showing. She's a great athlete with unbelievable ability, and now she's starting to feel the sport a little bit better, and that's what I like. And she's also being a better student of the sport right now, and so I think really with Jakara too. I think the sky's the limit for her, and so I think she's ready to step on that world stage and make an impact. At 57 kilos, we still have a wrestle off to have yet with Alex Hedrick and Helen Maroulis, and that'll be on October 6th. That'll be in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania on October 6th, and right before the flow event out there. So who's number one, I believe. And so, we'll see who that world team member is, but 59 kilos, Ellie Reagan, two-time, the last 2 years she's won a silver medal at the World Championships, and I think, she wants to get in there and see if she can rise one more step, and so Ellie's always doing the right thing. She's a professional athlete, and I think she's, bound and determined to get this job done, and so I like how she's preparing, and she always has a great attitude, and she's going to be in there. Next is Mallory Valti. Has had a great year. She number one, to make the team, she had to come through Kayla Miracle, and it really challenged her, but also I think it really helped her grow, and not just in finding a way to win the match, but I think finding a way to control her emotions and really learn how to win, and when you're in tough situations, and not be so emotional about it, just take things in stride a little bit more. And I think she's done a great job of learning that, and I think she's beaten a world champ from Mongolia this year. She's beaten the Russian champ, the European champ, I believe. So she's had some great performances and great competitions, and I think she really has a belief in herself right now to be on an award stand and possibly even win. So we're expecting big things from Mallory Belty. Forrest Molinari. Forrest has really come a long way. I mean, just the change from the national to the Final X, I think was really monumental in how she wrestled and how she stayed calm. And she's a young wrestler. She has not been wrestling that long, but she's full of athletic talent and just has some great instincts for the sport of wrestling. And now she's learning how to wrestle. And she brings a real passion to the sport, and I see her getting better every day. She had a great win this year against Bet Setsig from Mongolia. Two-time world champ, Olympic bronze medalist. At the World Cup in Japan in March, she defeated her and just showed that she still has things to work on. I mean, she hasn't won everything since then, but she shows what she's capable of doing, and how she's going about her business is very workmanlike and very professional. So I like that. Tamara Mensah. Tamara's probably had as consistent a year of it as anyone on our team. She just came off a great win in Spain, beat Jenny Fransen from Sweden, who is an Olympic bronze medalist, world champion, multiple-time world medalist, and I thought it was a great test for her, because Jenny Fransen is definitely one of the great competitors in the sport, and Tamara really showed, if she lets herself open up, what she's capable of doing. So for her, I think we've got to make sure that we can wrestle a certain pace throughout the match, and the conditioning is a huge factor for her, and so she can just mentally let herself open up, and so that's what we're really working on with her. And those technical things too, but that's a huge part of her success, I believe, is using her motion and keeping her motion the entire match. Erin Claudio now, I believe this is her second world team, okay, and has some, she made the world team in, I believe, 2015. Was very close in 2016, and then she was out the world team for a year, and now she's back, and so I think she realizes that she's at the tail end of her career, and she has an opportunity here to get things done, and so with her, it's we got to be creative. She's not in the best training environment right now, so really it's finding the ways that we can really we got to be very efficient with her training days, because we just don't have as many as some of the other girls, and making sure we're doing some things off the mat that are helping her, and so that's our focus with Erin Claudio. And Adeline Gray, Adeline is one of the best in the world. She just got beat in Spain by the Olympic champ Erica Weed from Canada. She knows what she has to work on. She's going about that right now, but Adeline's going to be in the mix. It's a tough weight. There's a lot of tough people there, but Adeline is one of those people that rises to the occasion when it's time to. And I feel very confident with her. We just got to stay healthy and continue on our path. So.
What's the latest on Helen Maroulis and her health and getting ready for October?
Well, she's had some issues, but she's cleared right now, and she's back on the mat, starting to train lightly, and so we're moving in that direction right now. We don't want to push things too much, but yet we've got to start to build that base of conditioning and everything back, and Helen's been there and done it. She knows what this takes. She's not going into this thing unprepared, and so. It's just, I think it's not rushing it. We got to be smart with it. I mean, there's been some concussion issues and things like that. So it's one of those things you can't rush, and we got to make sure that we're being very smart about it and how we go about our return to the mat. And, she's back on the mat, but how we go about return to full competition and full sparring. So that's where we're at with Helen, and she's doing what she can right now to get herself back in line. And then, Alex Hedrick is on our junior world team, preparing for the junior worlds and really zeroing in on that. And then after that, then she can focus on this match with Helen. So, Alex is out there right now to win a junior world medal, and that's what we're trying to do. So that's where her focus is right now and where it should be right now.
Thoughts on your junior team? They're going to be competing here in a month over in Slovakia, Junior World Championships over there. What has impressed you about being around that team?
It's a young group. It's a young junior team, but there's a lot of talent in there. And they've been around, they've been through the cadet program, most of them. They've been around for a few years, so they understand. They're starting to understand the sport of wrestling better and better. I think being around each other is starting to be more of a cohesive unit, which I think is very, very important for a women's team. And so I like what I see right now. They're working hard. They had a great couple days already in camp, and we just got to keep that going. So.
Lots of momentum in women's wrestling right now. Girls wrestling. 12 state-sanctioned teams now, state-sanctioned championships. Has there ever been this much momentum that you can recall?
No,
as there is right now.
Not since I've been involved. Women's wrestling is definitely moving forward at a very rapid pace, and talking to the other countries that are here. They're very envious of what we have and how this is growing. And they see it. And we start talking about what's happening at our grassroots level and the state level. They start talking about what's happening at our college level and the things that are happening there. So, from going from 6 states, total up to this point, up until 2018 or 2017, and now in 1 year we go to 12 states. That's huge. Our numbers are growing at 20 to 21%. The last 3-4 years. You just don't have growth like that. That just doesn't happen. And so, we've been pretty consistent at it. you know. So I think people are starting to realize the benefit of this sport and what it can have on young people's lives, right? And that's really how this moves forward. Is you got to help people see the value of the sport on young people, and anyone can get excited about that, right? And so that's where we're at. You know, we have the state sanctioning happen at the college level. You know, we think we're very close to emerging sports status with NCAA, and that's going to be a game changer for us as well. You know, we just had a gentleman and his family, Mr. David Lehman. Mr. David Lehman gave our development program $1.5 million over the course of 3 years. You know, we're able to do some things right now that we've never been able to do, to get our athletes the experience and the knowledge that they're going to need to be successful, you know, and hopefully at a younger and younger age. We'd like to be in a position where men's freestyle was last year, where they won everything, right? They won the cadets, they won the juniors, they won the seniors, and we realize we're a ways away from that yet. You know, we got some work to do, but you can't do anything without some financial resources and some people backing you, and you know, we're starting to get that. You know, we just had another gentleman in his family last week come forward. I mean, Steve and Wendy Capaferri donated to our program last week, another big donation. And so, you know, I think things are moving along well for us. You know, there's programs like Wrestle Like a Girl out there that are, that's what they're doing. That's their mission, is to advance the sport of women's wrestling. And so we got to beat the streets in programs that are pushing women's wrestling in their local areas. So there's a lot of things that weren't happening 10 years ago, right? And I think, you know, we've shown that we're a consistent program. We have good structure, and I think, you know, the success of Helen Merlis, the success of Adeline Gray, I mean, what those two individuals alone have done for the sport of women's wrestling is unbelievable. And so, you know, now it's just helping ride that and push it and show that we're going to not just have two, we're going to have a continuum of people stepping forward and accomplishing great things. And so that's our goal. You know, we've got to put more and more heroes in front of the younger generation. And the more we do that, the more excitement there is. People like to be around success, right? And we need to show that right now, and that's important to us.
Yeah, you chop a tree down, you don't do it with one swing. It takes a bunch of chops at it. Is that the case with this, or were there a few key factors in there that allowed it to really start falling here in 2018?
Well, again, you know, you look back, I think an Olympic champion was huge. We needed an Olympic champion. You know, if Helen doesn't do what she did in 2016, we're still waiting for that person, right? And we're still waiting for that first Olympic champion. And so I think that, you know, that was a very important step for this program, you know, and I'm just a firm believer that success breeds success, and you've got to have it, and you've got to be able to show it, and once you have it, let's parade it around a little bit and build some more excitement, and that's where we're at. I think you know, it's just taking time. I knew getting into women's wrestling, you know, back in 2002, I knew this wasn't a short-term thing. I knew that this was going to take time to build and develop and get people behind it and change the attitudes and change the minds of people out there that are great wrestling supporters and great wrestling coaches. And now that's starting to happen. You're starting to see some of our best coaches supporting, you know, the sport of women's wrestling. I mean, you know, and you can see it now even with our senior program. You know, we're starting to have athletes out in those RTC programs. You know, and that's a huge step forward again. That the coaches, you know, like Zeke Jones at Arizona State, like Tom Brands at Iowa, like Coleman Scott at North Carolina. I mean, they're starting to see the benefit of this sport, not only for young people, but on their own programs and how this can help them. And they're doing it because maybe out of the goodness of their heart too. Maybe it's just because they know it's the right thing to do, right? But they're still doing it. They're making a decision to step on board and support this and get behind it, and that's important. You know, we need our leaders in this sport behind the sport of women's wrestling as well, and that's starting to happen.
Anything else for us?
No, I mean, we're just in a hard training phase right now, and trying to keep climbing. And I want to thank Trackwrestling and everyone else for the support of women's wrestling, and it's been a long time coming, but very much appreciated. And we're excited that hopefully we can bring home some gold medals this year, and hopefully that team championship.